Dayton Town Board will come to order. The thing we have on the, can you hear me back there?
Yes, thank you for asking.
Okay. What we're meeting for tonight is discuss job description for the position of utility superintendent. And
Actually, the meeting's going on.
we are open at 6:02, so I guess that's, it was 6 o'clock meeting, am I correct? So
Yep.
if we can proceed, we've got a quorum here. So, and Ron, you're ready for the minutes, correct? Or whatever you gotta take. I don't know what the forum is on that. So it's open for discussion, and would you like to start your presentation,
Yep.
Tammy?
With Max retiring at the end of the year, we're gonna have to have a water superintendent of some sort. And with what he does now, he is listed as a town manager for the town of Dayton. The first sheet that I put in your paper that has responsibilities gives you a brief description of what a city manager is / town manager. And if you would take a minute just to read through those, it's not much, it reads fast. And that gives you an idea of what actual terminology is for a city manager / town manager.
There's quite a bit of responsibilities for
Yeah,
a a city manager, a town manager, and I think, Ron, you agree with
right. It has on here
that the
like.
job description that we gave Mr. Hahn doesn't fit this criteria.
Because he's not
Do you
super,
agree?
doesn't provide supervision for day-to-day operations of all city departments. He's not over the staff. He doesn't oversee the hiring and firing. He doesn't, he's not the main technical advisor to the council. Let's see, he's not the chief executive officer,
No.
and he does not advise the council on their decisions. So with that thought in mind, after you read through it a little bit there, you can kind of see, I think we need to rename his job descriptor,
Okay.
or a job descriptor for the position that we will be filling. I came up with a maintenance superintendent / water service technician.
And this is in the packet?
It is in the packet, it's under job postings. On one side of your packet, it says job posting, on the other side, to the right, it says internal job posting.
Okay.
Those are the same job descriptors, just a different type.
Okay.
That way, if we want somebody internally to apply for the job, they can, or if we want to put it out to the general public, it goes under a job descriptor.
Okay.
And behind each one of those job descriptors is an application for employment. One, and basically, there's a big one, just like we did with the marshal, it's about a 3-page, 2 or 3 page, maybe 4 application. And then if it's an internal job, it's only a 1-page, short 1-page, because obviously we already have their information
Yes.
on file, who they are, where they come from, and what they do, if they filled out an application to be an employee for the town of Dayton. What I'd like for you to do is go through this job descriptor that I have made up. Now, I'm not a writer for sewage, water, maintenance, but I think it's got the job, or the information in there that we need. If there's corrections, changes, let me know, we'll go back in there, we can add some stuff.
I would think that with the board here, that if we started with the job description and read that off, I know we've got a new board
Right.
member.
Yep.
Mike and I are pretty well familiar with it, but read that off, and then if Tyrone
Okay.
has some questions on that,
Okay, I can.
or I might even have a question, you know.
Okay,
so-
no, that's fine, and I've kind of just taken this from some of the information that Lady has given me and that Max has added to this. Like I said, I named the position, maintenance superintendent / water technician, water service technician. The hours right now are what he's working is 7 AM to 1 PM, Monday through Friday. Call-outs possibilities as needed, and additional hours not to exceed 40 hours a week. Those can all be changed. Anything on this can be changed. This is just a baseline. The salary was between $17.50 and $20 an hour. The $17.50 comes from the fact that that's what he's being paid now. Normally, your water people, like what we're asking him to do, can go up to $20 an hour or better.
That's because of the schooling he
The
has.
schooling, he has to have certifications, he has to keep up his certifications, and just the amount of overall work from the water side that can be a possibility, but he's doing a lot of hands-on right now with maintenance stuff around here. Under the descriptor, it says, the incumbent works as a maintenance supervisor / water technician for the town of Dayton with the responsibility for the overall management and reviewing the plans and projects for the town and maintaining the integrity of the water system. The incumbent will assist in maintaining the building and grounds around the town of Dayton and assist with making minor electrical plumbing repairs, painting, carpentry repairs, unclogging toilets, and changing light bulbs. The incumbent represents the town of Dayton and is expected to be courteous and hopeful when serving the public. The incumbent utilizes a considerable amount of technical judgment, making decisions on maintenance and recommendations that may affect the town. The incumbent will perform water data collections and will have a working knowledge of IDEM water regulations. The incumbent will perform data collections from individual water meters using electronic devices and accurately supply the information to the utility billing office, and will work closely with the clerk's office for water meters that need to be turned on and off. Questions, additions, whatever. Sound good? Mike, you all right with that? I mean, we can go back and we can change this. This is just a ballpark, some place to start.
Well, I think that's pretty much what the two of them are doing.
Right,
Well,
and
that's what Max has been doing.
I tried to take the information, like I said, they gave me and just kind of pick out. Under the duties, I know there's a list of them here, but the duties, and you can't put down everything you want these guys to do, so I put in there duties but not limited to reviewing the plans and projects, making calculations, determining quality and quantity estimates, writing letters, prepares budget information, attends various meetings as required, performs annual street inventory repairs and replaces signs as needed, and ensures street signs meet the MUTCD requirements. Perform monthly inspections of road repair and seeks repairs as needed. Perform routine maintenance on street equipment to include but are not limited to the trucks, snow plow, snow removal equipment, and mowers. Pre-season and post-season preparation and cleanup of all equipment is required. Responsible for snow removal program, ensuring snow is removed from the streets, municipal lot, and sidewalks in a timely manner. Responsible for maintaining a driver schedule and ensure all equipment is manned during a snow emergency. Now, if we want to go back and we want to change that to something and not make him responsible for that, you know, that's just a judgment call. We can work with whoever has this position on that. Prepares and execute bids for repair of streets. Perform duties as ADA coordinator and Title VI coordinator to involve and maintain both programs. Ensure the town is compliant on both programs. Maintain an up-to-date inventory and progress sheet on all ADA and Title VI compliance issues. Perform annual ADA and Title VI inspections. Assist.
And when he does that, he keeps a log.
I think that's what he has. I've encouraged him to get a dry erase board for back there to make a list of all of our projects that we have going on, so that anybody would happen to walk back there and say, what's the town working on, you can show them the board, and it'll show what's on that board. He can help, that will help him to stay on task.
Well, that
Or
helps.
whoever, stay on task, and so they know where they're at and what they're supposed to be doing. You can put your dates, your start dates, your date ends, and anything that comes in between to meet all the deadlines.
Okay.
Assist the street superintendent with project funding in coordination with the MPO and NDOT on all federally funded projects, research future funding opportunities, and present them to the town board. Continuing, perform inspection duties of the town projects to ensure that they are completed as planned, oversee the maintenance of the town property, such as trash removal and landscaping, assist in maintaining all town maps and plans in an orderly manner, discarding old plans and requesting updated plans as needed, maintain and complete the monthly report of water operation record, perform monthly analytical water testing required by IDEM, respond to service and/or complaint calls such as leaks, discolored water, turn on, turn off meters, etc. Participates in individual reading for each meter in the town of Dayton. Monitors the condition of each meter, reporting those in need of repair or making minor repairs. Recording of the meter data and transferring information to the office. Ensure all IDEM water testing requirements are met, daily, monthly, quarterly, and annually, uses the CL2, bacteriological, and lead and copper, THN, HAA, etc. Record daily water usages at the Dayton's master meter building. Comply with the state's required stormwater regulations and rules. Check and test all wastewater pumping stations daily. Troubleshoot low or no water usages by customers, meters, malfunctions. Ability to create forms, including concepts and formats using Microsoft Product. Change meters as needed, flush hydrants as required. Make sure backflow valves have been tested yearly, schedule preventative maintenance twice a year on all lift stations. The VIF calibration is done once a year through VL Anderson. And work with the county to make sure that they have what they need for their reports. The grease traps are located at the Dayton Pool Barn, McAllister, EP gas station, Circle K, and the Dayton School. There's a list on here of people that they deal with and what they do. The requirements that I listed, that they must have a high school diploma or equivalent. I don't think we offer or make them have anything else. Maintain a valid Indiana driver's license, which the police department can stay up on that and check if you have any questions. Ability to physically perform assigned duties, including driving, sitting, standing, and walking for long periods of time. Ability to safely operate a wide variety of hand and power tools. The ability to effectively communicate orally and in writing, including being sensitive to professional ethics, gender, cultural diversities, and disabilities, and the ability to work alone under minimal supervision. So that is on both of those. One I said is just listed as an internal job posting, and the other one is just listed as a job posting.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to call on Mike to see if he has any suggestions or any thing that, any critiques of it, what you see would be maybe some change to it, or what you might want to add, or what you don't like.
Pretty much covered it all, but as far as Lanny and the snow removal, that was one of the reasons we hired him, was to take care of the snow removal and get help if he needed it.
Right, and that's on there, that he is over that and needs to make sure that there's a manned time. You know, he's gonna have to make the judgment as if we call out, who we call out, when we call out, if we get an inch, are we calling out, or do we have to wait till 2 inches and call it out? You know, that's one thing that the board's gotta figure out, and we can put in there, and if we have a snow emergency and we've got 2 inches on the ground, are we gonna come out and get a plow? We have to decide and put it in here if you want.
The only other thing was, we had Max's salary, just doing all the utility stuff.
Well,
utility plus this on an hourly rate. Are
Right.
you gonna keep them on an hourly rate, or are you gonna?
well,
go
and that's what we
salary?
need to talk about the job then. The salary right now I have between $17.50 and $20 an hour. He said he went out with Max just to read the meters, and it was about five hours to read that. Okay, so that's one day a month that he's gonna be out reading meters. He seems to think, now I've talked to him about this, he seems to think that he will have plenty of time in that 7 to 1 time frame to get done what he needs to do.
Yeah. That's him. If we
That-
hired somebody else,
Well, that's right, if we
is
hire,
a question.
right, if someone else is hired, then we probably will just have to work it out and see. He's okay with the 30 to 32 hours, but if we see that it's gonna need to be a longer time, then we need to talk to him.
I think,
I think it goes back to what we're gonna do, is if we're gonna try to keep it as an internal hire to start with, and if he cannot keep up with the pace, we offer them more hours. If he declines it, then we have to go back and look through it again and see if we want to hire someone from outside.
So he already, he knows that this involves stormwater meetings,
He's very much aware of that, Max.
call
He
him
has a lot
anytime to come to town, and
Yeah, he knows about the certifications that he has to have, and he already has a majority, yeah, of what he needs. And I've talked to him, and I told him, I said, this is what we're offering. If you can't, we need to know up front. But just know that if we hire somebody else, that your job's not gonna be here. So I think it's only right, as a board in the town, to make an internal job posting to start with. Let him see if he can handle it. If he can't, and we see that we have to add hours,
that'll give us a better idea of what we got to,
then, right.
both.
But if we can, we save a lot of money though, right, with keeping somebody who's just gonna be hourly at that, instead of hiring a whole new person. Going through all
Right,
that
because
taxes,
if you
it's
go out and you
gonna
start
cost
hiring somebody else, yeah, we could start them out at that 17.50 and work them on step, working for a year, and then go back in the next year, give them 18.50 and have them step their way up to the $20 an hour. But I think he's good with the 17.50 to start. He said he's been here a year roughly, and he's probably due for a little bit of an increase at this point around the first of the year. So if we go with the, what is it, Ron, 4.5, whatever it is, %, he's probably in line to get that increase this year.
I have another question on this, the job description, how you were talking about like the snow, like him being able to make his own call. Is there other stuff that he could start making his own call on too? Like if something's like an emergency or like, a situation that, doesn't want to wait a month for somebody to get approval. Is there anything that we can get going quick? Like, who knows, like a tornado coming through and destroyed some stuff.
Okay.
Anything that just kind of gives him more of like, he doesn't have to
Well,
ask the permission.
If we would have a tornado or something.
No, not even just, but anything.
Well, we can use that, that's a
Yeah.
good place to start. He would probably be more with the council than out physically doing anything. He's gonna be the one there to tell people how to get things done, and that kind of thing. He would be in charge of telling you, you need to go over here and do this, you need to go over here, if you have volunteers, and that kind of thing.
And there is situations like that Max took care of a broken water line. He would, at that time that we viewed, we found out about the water line, got hold of Max. Max would let him know, and Max would go ahead and get Randy out here right now
Yeah.
and get
or
fixed.
or that
Yeah,
other
just
outfit.
something where you know
Without
that
that,
they
yeah.
don't have to.
That's
Well,
what-
that's emergencies.
Yeah.
You gotta go that way, and
That's
usually, the procedure is, when it's an emergency, if there's 3 people, board members that are notified and they all agree.
Well, yeah, but in emergency, says the water line's broke, you gotta get it fixed. Nobody's
Gotta do
gonna
it, yeah.
disagree to not get it
Yeah.
fixed, so.
Okay.
It's gotta be done.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was
Yeah.
like any kind of limitation where he's
Usually it's
trying
just
to, or if.
courtesy
anybody-
that he lets
yeah.
us know, but he's got it done, so.
Okay.
Well, I think that he's got a good background, and I'm certainly would have to agree that, with the internal job posting first. I think that, with his certifications that he's already had with Lafayette, that would help too, but, sometimes you think maybe you should open it up for everybody, but, with the two on either side saying internal, I guess I'd go along with that, you know,
Well, I'm
because,
just looking at. like,
you're gonna be on the board,
Yeah.
after December, you're gonna be on the board after December, so,
Well, one-
you know, it's more in what you people feel that's comfortable with than what I would do.
Well, like, we'll just look at it this way, like, say you were working, you were doing a good job, and then we kind of changed your job and then said, instead of promoting you, we're gonna fire you, and we're gonna hire this new person because we wanted to open it up. That's kind of how I feel like we're doing to him, is kind of being like, oh, you haven't.
Yeah, but it's a different job description than what he's
But
doing.
it's still canceling, part of it's still his original job, you know, if this is your job.
Well, I'm not arguing.
Oh, no,
with
I'm
you.
just, yeah.
You know, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that, you know,
I just think.
I agree with you too.
Okay.
You know, but I can see where you might have somebody that has the same credentials and maybe can do the job better. I don't know. I know that I was critiqued one time for not bringing different points up, you know? And I'm just bringing up a different point.
And those are valid points. We did change the job descriptor, so technically, yes, we don't have, we could put it out there for everybody and see. I just think that we should offer it up to
I
ladies.
think this is a good route to go to see what it actually takes over the
Right.
next year.
Yes, and that's why I agreed with you,
And if
because,
he can't do the hours, or it's,
yeah,
then
Yeah.
we'll have to go out.
he already knows probably 80% of the job, so.
I don't think any of
I'm
us,
just good, you know, I'm just trying to be a devil's advocate maybe, you know.
I don't think
sometimes.
anybody right now has any problems with the things that he does.
No.
He may get sidetracked on some things, but because something else has come up that needs immediate attention. And like I said, I'd like to have him get that board up so he can keep track of what needs to be done. And I know we all come up, and especially me with building maintenance, well, can you fix the doorbell? Well, can you put another cabinet in back? Well, can't you do this? I need all this done this week, and, you know, it can't happen that way.
Well, that's another section you can put on the whiteboard, people adding to it, like, hey, this needs to be done.
Well-
Toilet's broke, you need to fix this.
The only thing I see is, you got the job description, you got the duties, but who does he actually answer to?
Right, and I left that part out, because before,
Okay.
because I wanted it for discussion.
Well, that's why I
Because-
brought it up.
Right, because before, in the old descriptors, it was under the street superintendent. I think that the job descriptor that we have here is as much of the water end of the utility end of it
Probably more of that than anything else, isn't it?
as
You agree?
as the streets. Now, can you have two bosses, if you will? Yeah, if they know their place.
Yeah, but that doesn't always
No.
work really well.
So that's open for discussion, and,
That's hard, that's hard to do if he's got questions on a street, but he's under utility
right,
president, utility president making decisions for
I
the
mean-
street superintendent. So that, you about have to separate that,
right. Maybe he needs,
which is not gonna, shouldn't be a problem for the two people up here,
right,
keeping streets and utility separate. It's just, he just needs to go to the right one. Whether it's a street problem versus,
right. And I think he can differentiate between the two. And I think whoever sits up here knows their job and knows if they can't answer that question, they know where to go to get the answer. Either that or you put him under the direction of the president, and I'm not sure how we would want that.
I agree with Mike. I think the utility, the water and sewer, and the stormwater, that should be under the utility thing. The street, whoever's appointed over the street, that's who he answers to on the street. So, I don't think there's too much of a headache
And
on
it's always a common practice, if a street situation comes up or a utility situation comes up that either the utility or street guy doesn't feel comfortable making that decision, then you hold it to a board meeting and
Right.
you make it as a group,
Exactly.
so.
Okay, that's the only thing that I can see in an internal job posting that maybe we should be a little specific on.
Yes, I have, I can go
And
back and make
I
those.
think
I
that
just
I'm
was
hearing
holding
from the
out to see
board
what you
that
wanted to
I'm
do.
not speaking just for myself,
Yeah, that
I'm
makes sense.
speaking for the other two, maybe the other three board members,
Okay,
that we put who he answers to.
okay,
And I think that alleviates a lot of questions, and that way, he knows going in who he answers to. I think right now, sometimes he wonders who he's answering
right.
to.
And I mean, that's understandable. I mean, and you're kind of lost sometimes, you just kind of have to wing it and see what you come up with. And I'll go back and I will add that in there.
Yeah.
So I guess I have to put it back to you as far as if you want to go ahead and offer this.
I think we should probably do it, you need to have somebody on the ground
Yep.
1st of January.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
You're
It's
and,
gonna take, I mean, yeah.
You know,
figure it out.
and I think that we got a guy that's here, and he's on the ground. So I think, just me, and I don't wanna be presumptuous in saying, let's hire him, and without the rest of the board being on board. And I don't know whether we can make that recommendation here or not. There's some questions on whether we're really supposed to be making the decisions here,
well,
The way Bumbleberg explains to me, any open meeting, you can vote as long as there's your quorum.
Okay, and this is an open meeting,
It's an open
is that
meeting.
correct?
It's listed as an open meeting. It's
Okay, then we can take a vote.
Yes.
And do you want to take a vote on this to offer it to him?
Yep.
Okay, and is there a motion made on the floor?
I make a motion, we offer the internal job posting to Lanny first.
I second the motion.
Okay. You've got that motion down, Ron? There's been a motion made and properly second that the job of an internal posting be offered to Lanny first. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. So, with that one addition, who he answers to.
right, and,
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's so, we need to figure out now who he's gonna, because he don't know who he's supposed to talk to. Since, Merkel was the street superintendent. that's
Yeah,
what-
he
So-
pulled the pin.
We really don't know, he doesn't really know who his direct
Well, his
chain of
direct,
command is.
the direct, right now, the
Would be
way
you.
I interpret it, the way
Would be you.
we just discussed, is the water, it's the
right.
Tammy, and the streets is.
Yeah, but he doesn't know who that is right now. He doesn't
Yeah, but it
know
will be.
I'll talk to
Whose
him.
streets? Ashley now?
Ashley Stevenson, yes.
I guess that is
Yes,
that right.
that's who was appointed. I think that's in the minutes, isn't it, Ron?
Okay, so he,
Well, and then one other thing on this, and I don't know if there's a plan in place for the town or not, at what point do we actually get the plows out?
yeah, that's a hard call, because you can have the plows out when it's just a thin layer of ice and no snow, so it's kind of I always call the marshal or whoever's on duty, say, how are the streets? They say they're terrible, they need salt.
That's past practice
And,
is
and
what
that's,
we've done.
that's good.
But
Or if they
that's-
call us and say, hey, we need some street attention,
They don't necessarily need plows, but they need some attention,
right,
intersections, stuff
in
like that.
intersection, and they can throw some sand down or whatever, and,
And like I say, I think the first thing is the marshal, then the second thing would be the guy that's over the street department.
Right,
You know,
so.
whoever that might be.
And that's, it's happened to me. I'm at work and calling me, should we plow? I don't know. I have no idea what the rules are like, so it's,
So just leave it back with the police department to make the
Yeah.
call. And then for the streets, then they'll call him, and he's gonna have to be the one to call Laney and say, you need to get out and clear the streets. And Laney can say, okay, I'll get that handled, and then he can either go out and do it, or he can have somebody else, whoever else is lined up to plow.
Yes. And I think, in past practice, that they usually start with the roads that go to the school first.
Right, your
So,
main
you know,
roads.
and the fire department usually first too.
And I think whoever's over the streets and whoever's over the utilities knows that, so, once he get acclimated the first year or so, he should know that.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know, I know Laney got out and plowed a little bit last year, but with it being in this new job descriptor, he's gonna have to be in charge of it.
So just probably either do it or have people.
Right, have people lined up.
I just hope that the costs don't go overboard if he has some internal or external people come in and do the plow.
Well, and then that's what you're
But
gonna have.
that's something that you need to think about
Right.
next year, you know.
And then the town's gonna have to figure out how they're gonna do that. Are you gonna let board members plow? Who are you gonna have? Is there gonna be a call list for that?
And whoever would like to, it has been me, Rod, Laniger wanted to, anybody that wanted to help out. Andrew helped out.
Right.
Ron helped, Merkel helped out. He probably still would if he had time. But you don't just go throwing anybody in your
John Q.
buddies
Public
in the trucks.
Yeah.
They gotta be under our insurance, so
Correct.
Yeah.
You can tear up a lot real fast with it, that's no problem.
yeah, somebody that's got experience. You don't
Yep.
just throw anybody in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what we've decided is it's gonna be up to the police department ultimately to contact you and tell you that, yes, we need snow removal, we need abrasives, whatever we need for the streets.
Whoever's over the street, you know,
Right.
right now, you're over the streets.
Correct.
Other than calling the town manager?
We changed the job description, it's in your folder.
I apologize, I had on my calendar that the meeting was at 7.
Oh. It's
See, you're not the only one, I thought,
Well, the other night, I thought that's what we had agreed on.
it's-
but anyway,
Instead of-
there's been some discussion on the meeting time. We've gone over this and, the four of us, like the internal job posting with the addition of who, if Lanny accepts it, who he answers to. You know, like the snow plowing, he would answer to who is
Street.
appointed to the streets.
Right.
If it has to do with a broken water line or a meter or something, then who is over the utility, either the
Makes sense.
president or vice president. So this is pretty straightforward. We went down through there and read it, and it's pretty thorough. If you notice, there's an internal and an external posting, and we agreed that we should offer the job. A vote was taken, and it was 4-0 that we offered the job to Lanny first. So,
Lanny did it on a per hour.
yes,
Yes.
and he'll continue doing it on a per hour basis. That's what he feels comfortable with.
Yes.
Just to get you up to date, maybe
Right.
Tammy
He's
would,
been working 7 A to 1 P, and he's good with that. And, right now, he's at $17.50 an hour, and which should be bumped up around the first year to whatever our across the board is for the raises and everything. And then another year,
4.2.
And
Has
then
that
we-
schedule been determined yet?
what's that?
Has that pay schedule been determined yet, or is that something already in place, or is that something that we're talking about?
The pace range for this job,
No, the.
that's in the
increase.
budget, that's what the budget has, is,
Next month, we'll do the salary ordinance and everything, and that's when we decide on what the police, what the council, what the town clerk,
Lawyer,
the lawyer, everybody makes. We do that in November. So,
but that's right now at the salary, or
Hourly rate.
rate, and it's gonna be a learning for us too, to see what hours the streets and the utilities takes. And if it requires 40 hours, if he wants to do 40 hours or not, or he wants, doesn't require 40 hours, he may go to a salary. And they have to go to somebody else if he doesn't want.
If he doesn't want to pick up the extra hours and make it a full-time job.
I know he pretty well keeps track of his hours, what he does.
Yes.
He's got, monitors that pretty closely on,
Yep.
on his log on the computer, I guess. So,
Okay.
the thing that was brought up, that I liked it was brought up, and you'll appreciate it, was when he's working with the streets, and their streets have been prioritized, there should be a listing here in the office, so the other councilmen know what streets are gonna be done and stuff, you know, and.
As far as asphalting, or
Yeah.
snow plowing, or?
No, just for the repair of the
The
streets.
repairs and stuff.
Okay, we passed a 2014 dating document, Tiffany, kind of how we put together.
Yeah.
We passed that out at the last board meeting, so
Yeah.
that is.
And that's good, because what happens is, they come out here and they evaluate the streets, and they're engineers, I'm not, you're not, you know, so I think the board felt comfortable with that, so. But this is when the repairs are gonna be done. I guess it has to do with, once we get a documentation on which ones need it first, then it's up to the individuals over the street department to start getting the bids and put the package together, and,
You talked about the other day with conjunction.
yes. So,
Okay.
anyway,
I'm with you.
that was just a comment I had that pertained to the job description.
John, it's just, I want to warn you here, but sometime you guys have to talk tonight, I know it's not on the agenda, but about this election location, it's sort of an emergency situation.
I would think, like I said, I wasn't here, I guess there was a big, I'm glad I wasn't here.
There were some comments made.
So I would think that, my personal opinion is, I'd recommend the fire station, because it's got plenty of parking. It's,
Well, let me tell you what he said today, okay? Just before you guys talk, because Ashley asked me to call this. He had said there's a state mandate directing that they don't have the election facilities where kids are around. Kids are over to church, kids are over to school, that kind of stuff. That's why that election committee decided this town hall. They said he named off several places that where the building is smaller than this in Lafayette, and they do a lot more people, okay? But, and by the way, they looked at the parking lot. Parking lot here is 25 cars, over there it's 24, that kind of stuff.
well,
But anyway, he said the decision is strictly up to the election committee board. The county gives the town council 10 days' notice to change it. The only thing they want to know from the council is it okay to have it here or not? Code 311-3.2 says that the location is decided only by the election board and not by the towns. They can change the location for an election up to and within 2 days before an election. It seems like an awful short time, but up to within 2 days. In an emergency, like if they feel the building is unsafe or something's happening, they can change it even in the last 2 days
well,
before
where are they
the
gonna
election.
put it other than, I have an issue with what's going on. I haven't been here, it's not on the agenda, we're talking about it, I don't know whether we're gonna make a decision tonight. My personal thing is, just from what I hear, and I haven't given a lot of thought, maybe you guys have, but if you have it here, and somebody wants to pass out information, you can't pass it out in a, which is the front, which is the back, where do you give it, where's the polling place at? There's a lot of questions in my mind right now, Ron. You know, state law says you can't be within so far of which is the in, which is the out, where's the handicap?
Well, they would have it, he said they'd have it all out there, you come in the parking lot and you come in.
Okay, when it's raining, where are we gonna put the extra people, you know, where are they gonna be, you know?
I know, it's the same.
I'm just thinking that if you try to have it in a small place like this, you're cheating the voter, you're cheating the candidates.
Well, first of all, I just soon have it at the church still, but.
Well, I would too, I
But you
thought the
better
church was
check
a
with
perfect place, but, you know, all this political correctness stuff, and it's just like you say you can't have it at the fire station because you got kids across the street. Well, that's in a lockdown area. You
Well,
know,
and they're walking
that
to-
doesn't hold diddly squat with me.
But they're walking to school.
John, your concerns are exactly what were expressed by, residents, the other night.
Yes.
You know,
Okay, like I said, I wanted to hear,
Yeah, well, you're on the same page as a lot of
Okay.
people that spoke.
but, you know, I just see that this is the first time that we've had some people running for office, and to try to be fair with everybody, you know, I've got two right here that they're running for an office, you know. I think that me being an outside, just from what I heard, that they're trying to curtail the voting procedure. And I have a real problem with that. And you can call me Donald Trump or whatever you want to call me, but I just see that, you know, we've never had any problems over at the church. The church has been a good place. They've had, you know, people, I've been over there when the line has been inside, you know. One of the things that was brought up was they were worried about child protection or something. I think Dayton can come up with a day to have a police officer full-time right there.
Well, I explained to him that I'd already talked to the manager at the church, Deke, who was a friend, and he said it's all locked up. There's a hallway between, there's one door that they didn't lock last time. And I told that, I was trying to say that I think the board changed their mind after he left the other day. The board was for keeping it at the church.
I'm for keeping it at the church.
But
And
he
the
said
second thing, if I'm voting on it, I'd move it to the
Okay.
police
So
station.
when they said that,
I just feel that I realize that, you know, I just don't feel like it's fair to subject the people of Dayton. You know, I think you're gonna see a pretty good turnout. I'm happy, you know, you see some political action here, you know, you see,
people are used to the church, I said.
Yes.
They said they'd be locked down, all that kind of stuff. If you go switching it, especially at this late date, you might get some confusion. I explained all that, and you know what he said? He said, well, Ron, it's not gonna be at the church. Tell the council it's not gonna be at the church. Just tell us whether you
well,
want it
just tell
or not.
them we're not having an election this year, then, you know, is that what he's telling us?
Well, he said what happens, they changed Calvary.
I'm being
Baptist Church.
facetious now, you know that.
I know. And he said they changed that, and I agree with you on everything you said. But he said it's the election board. He said a lady was out here doing the election a few years ago, and she saw that she thought that it looked like a dangerous situation at the church where kids could get snatched. I said, well, what about when they walked to school? As I remember, I stood up there all day long 12 years ago at the election until the fire department didn't want it. And I said, there's people parking all over. They're moving the fire trucks out. They're all over the place. The kids are walking all around. And he said, he just said, well, that's why we wanted to.
Well,
So he
what
said,
if-
you want me to come out and talk to him? I said, I'll find out.
If the town board says they don't want it in the town hall, then they better find another place, right?
Is there a boss of his that we could talk to besides him, just kind of, because I mean, well, him, the way that,
I
he
know.
was treated here the other day, he's
He's got
not
a
up to
yeah.
bat for what,
Yeah.
trying to help out this, town of Dayton,
Well, and that's the second part of my little rant tonight, so.
Well, we're hearing from one side, you know, it seems like He lives here in Dayton,
Well, I think he was.
and he's appointed as a Democrat. He's not appointed as a Republican. I haven't heard anything from the Republican.
I don't think he's around anymore, but, I'll tell you what, he said, if you guys want to, you could call a meeting in a couple of days and have him out here. He said it's gonna be,
Well, I think that maybe I should go down and find out exactly who's in control of this deal, you know, or Bumblebird, because I tell you what, I just smell something that smells like a dirty rat. And I'm not calling him a dirty rat, I'm just saying something doesn't.
Lean and I, when we were down there with the budget meeting, we even walked up there and said hi to him, and we both explained to him that we felt after he left that the town board would really like to have it at the church.
Yes.
And he basically said, then no, you know, so.
Well, you know, I don't see how the ultimate responsibility falls on one guy that's a Democrat appointed.
I don't.
Now, I'm a registered
I
Republican,
think
I
he-
have been,
I know.
and I really take offense to some of that.
Yeah, I think he said it's the election committee, but, or election
Well, you know,
board,
he
but-
can tell you anything he wants to tell you. You hear these politicians now, they're telling you anything you want to hear.
Well, I think it'd be good to have him talk, but I think it ought to be something, I would personally like to go down and hear what he has to say too with one of you guys.
Well,
I think
I'd like to hear what the commissioners have to say
Yeah.
too.
I think it just needs to stay at the church, because at any point in the day, there's kids running all over this town, so it doesn't matter if it's at the church.
Yeah, that did-
or
yeah.
Father's Day. If,
Yeah.
Sour thing.
And that's what it sounds
I
like.
always thought the town hall was closed on election day,
I was too. but-
Yes, it should be, it's government entity.
but
But it just seems like if we talked to who his boss was and said, yo, we're gonna have more protection, we're gonna have an officer out there watching, all that, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, maybe they think, oh, nobody's watching, we don't care, but if we're showing that we're gonna put, you know, some work into making it as safe as possible.
and I don't think, I mean, this is a small election here, when they have the big election,
Yes.
this place
We-
ain't
we
gonna work,
couldn't-
so where are they
yeah.
gonna put it?
Right.
They gonna move it out of Dayton?
I asked him that, and he said, I said, you might get by with this one. He said, no, Ron, he said, then he named off a couple places in
Where's the other
Lafayette.
place was at?
Well,
Lafayette.
yeah, in Lafayette, he said, one's at some, Mason's Hall or somewhere. He said it's a
Where?
smaller room, Mason's Hall or something, I thought. But he said it's a smaller room than this room right here, a smaller building, and they're serving a lot more voters.
At the
So,
Sonic Lodge in Lafayette?
he just said somewhere, I don't know, it sounded like it was Sonic.
See, that
Lodge.
doesn't sound right either, because I belong to Lodge here, and they don't have anything to do
Yeah, okay.
with politics.
Well, some kind of lodge or something.
You know,
That's
they're.
why you need to, you probably all need to talk to him, you know?
Well,
Find
I-
out.
I guess I need to go down there
Have-
and
have
see
them come out.
something.
Yeah, he said he'd come out, here.
Just Brian or?
Why don't he
somebody
bring the
else?
other one? You know, there's two appointees.
Yeah, well, we can ask that.
I think they have somebody over them that makes these decisions, and I think he was truly just a messenger.
Yeah, I think he was a messenger, I think we need the guy to get out here, not him, he
The
did.
county
It's not the other guy
Well,
in the county.
The messenger was lucky to get out of here with his life, I guess.
We
That's
could,
what-
how about a call him tomorrow? I said I'd call him and let him know what you guys decided.
Yeah.
And how about a call him and see if they can.
Well, I
his
haven't
boss
cast my
come out.
ballot of what, but I agree with Mike, and I agree with Tyrone, and I think I agree with Ashley Stevenson and Tammy, that I don't see the problem with the church.
Okay, well, let me call him and I'll let you guys.
Now, am I right?
Yeah.
Am I being vocal here? or,
At the end of the last meeting, you know, everybody voted to keep it at the church if that was.
Okay. See, I wasn't here, thank you for that.
Yeah, the board-
And the people that were here, the townspeople, were on board with that, right?
Yeah, we are all on the same page on this.
Okay.
But
I thought that I,
No, no,
It's
no,
gonna
no.
be up to that election board.
Yeah.
Let me get him out here.
Well-
Get him out here right away.
I would like to see the superior.
So,
Okay.
Right.
You know, we're getting the messenger, and I don't know whether the messenger's telling me what the chief is saying.
So,
Am I getting suspicious or
I
what?
think you are, but good point. I mean, but I think maybe we should vote on if
if they will not let it do it at the church, whatever, have a location that we do agree on, you know, say, okay, we do wanna do the fire station if, you know, everything we go through and they say no, or we wanna do it here, whatever, just so that it's, we have something to tell people before, you know, when we're like, oh, well, next week's election, it's gonna be,
Well, and what he said, they can change it up to 2 days from the election. Is that,
Right.
I don't know.
Once you talk it over with him, maybe you can just talk him into leaving.
I would think the fire station would be a worse place, closer to kids.
Yes, but it's still.
They aren't under lock.
The only good thing about the fireplace, the firehouse is there's two exits or entrances to the parking lot. You know, here you've only got one, and
That's correct.
Somebody needs to talk to the
And
fire.
the thing.
yeah, you could park maybe over at the church and maybe a little bit on-street parking
I
lot.
don't know.
I asked them about the church, but he said, is that paved? Some of it's paved. The handicap's paved.
I mean, can they do, I mean, I know it's November, but can they do huge outside tents with heaters and then set up the booths in there? Or does it have to be an official building with set walls?
At their cost.
Well,
Yeah.
here's what I'm asking the people running for office. I would think that the day, I know when I ran for an office at the local, I had flyers that I handed out, you know, when they came in, you know, and I see that here, you know, and I think if somebody is campaigning for the office and put enough time and effort into it, I'm like everybody here has, I think they have a right to it, and I'm not so sure that you could do it here. And what that's doing, that's taking away the thing that makes people, you know, out there. Hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm Ashley Stevenson, I'm running for the town board of Dayton, and here's what I believe that I can get accomplished. I would appreciate your vote.
That's why it was nice at church where they both everybody walked in that one set of doors and
Yes,
everybody
yes.
could be right
And-
there.
and I just think that when you do away with that, you're doing away with the voting procedure. You're doing away with the way it's been done for, what, 200 years?
I don't think, you know, having it here or anywhere else would have necessarily do away with it, because there's state laws, you gotta be back so many feet from the door and all that stuff, when you're doing that stuff.
Yeah, but where are you gonna be here?
Well, you can be on the property itself, you just have to be back so many feet.
Well, you could be over here in the church lot.
Yes, you may be standing in the parking lot, or you may be standing in the church lawn, or,
Well, I don't think you'd be in the church, in the parking lot, because if that's the entrance, and you can't be within 40 feet of the entrance, you're not gonna be in a parking lot.
yeah, I'm just going back to
Yeah.
when my brother-in-law was running for office, and I was one of the poll workers, and, you know, I don't remember exactly if it was 25 feet or what it was, but
But
as
you
long as I
take
stay back so
25
many
feet
feet
out
from
of the
it.
back door here, you're over in Brand's property.
yeah, so.
You know, so, you know,
You're right, the church made it convenient because, you know, big parking lot and all that stuff.
you know, we've got some people running for office, and I just think that, in fairness to them, yeah, I agree with you people.
Yeah, I agree, John, because when I ran over to that fire station, I remember the old clerk got there before I did, and I had to take the second crummy entrance, and she
Yeah.
got the first entrance.
Yeah, see,
You know,
so,
and there's a,
you know, okay, we discussed it. There's no vote taken. There's there's 5 of us here, so we're all thinking the same. So I'm glad, even by me missing the last meeting, that I did. Anyway, is there anything else we need to discuss?
Yes. I'd like to go back to the little incident that happened with Mr. Meininger during that last outbreak with him and the guy from the county. We are all representatives of the town of Dayton, which means we should not be doing stuff like that. We don't call people out, we don't yell and scream, even though we have in the past.
Well, I've been a defender of that myself.
I think that with Mr. Weiniger being part of this town and being, you know, doing things for this, he also puts himself out there as a representative for the town. And I would hope next time that we call him down on this kind of activity, And if we can't get him calmed down, I'm sure the marshal will help him leave the building. Now, is it right that we allow him to do that because he's our friend? No. It's not right that he does that. It's not right that I yell and scream at somebody, or is it right that Mike yells and screams at somebody? Because it's a misrepresentation of what we're all about. It's just like using our emails. Those are all public records. So be very careful on what you put in those emails, because at any time, that email could come back to bite you in the butt.
Mhm.
So if you have a rant to make, and you don't want everybody in Dayton to see it, use your personal email.
Yes.
And that,
Tammy, excuse me, one thing here is, what, we can't get a hold of you guys, because I don't think,
Well, you
I don't
can-
use the IN.gov anymore, nobody seems to use it, does anybody use it?
that is that's the email that we're supposed to use.
That's where I get my information from. I go on there, I log on, and I get people asking, you know, questions about, the golf cart thing. I had a bunch of them on that.
Okay,
If,
well, the one, okay, who uses of all you guys? I thought I heard you didn't use it, you guys, you don't, I don't
just
anymore.
started using it because it doesn't link up with your phone that well, you have to, this app.
exactly.
Well, see, I don't have one of those phones.
I
You
finally
know,
figured
some of
that
you
out. It
people,
was-
you know,
I have to go in and I have to log in
Yeah.
each
Look,
So
time.
I'll send it to you guys, anything that you're old.
mine,
No,
mine
you
doesn't
go
have
ahead
it.
and do it to ours, but
That
then
wasn't
send us
the
a
iPhone
text
7?
and say, hey, check your email,
Okay,
check your Dayton email.
because I have sent out emails.
Right,
before, and you
right.
don't get an
I don't know if
answer.
you guys
Well,
have the same problem.
I got your
One
reply.
had, tons of
On-
spam.
when
Like,
you
mine
sent
is all-
something
it's
out,
like
you
all
know,
The
spam.
government,
It came to
dot-
me
The dot, the
on-
Dayton dot Indiana.
you know, when
or
you
whatever it
push the
is.
button.
Yeah.
Mine has.
Well,
Yeah,
Maybe I didn't hear
Hardly
back from
any
you, I just
regular
didn't think you got it,
emails. They actually got
used it or
one
something,
or
so,
two.
okay.
No.
And the rest are just
No.
spam.
A lot of times,
No,
I
If
don't,
it's messed up or.
you know, if it's an opinion that you had, you know, what
Yeah.
went on,
Yeah.
I don't like to comment on that, because,
Yeah, I'm talking about last several times when I just notified you of something, I didn't get an answer. I haven't put an opinion on there for a long, long time. I don't
well,
think.
I'd have to go look.
But I
at it.
did, well, when Dave sent out that thing about that watchdog sign.
Yes, that,
Well, that's because I replied to everybody he sent it to, so the same people could get that reply.
oh, I just thought it was,
Yeah.
through,
No, he sent it to every plan, he sent it to some of you guys, or you guys, and he sent
and
it to me.
you sent something out too, and I got it,
Yeah.
and I don't know,
I just hit
I just
reply.
thought it was that you put it in my box, you know.
No, I just hit replies.
You know,
Just send it my regular email, because if I don't get it on my phone, I
Yeah.
don't get it, because I don't look at the computer.
but what I do, in order to answer your question, Ron,
Yeah.
whatever it is that is up here, the town, and I tell Bumbleberg the same thing, but evidently, he doesn't know, and maybe you don't know, but I go in there, I got a code number, I push in, and it comes up, you know,
Yeah.
but there's people in Dayton send it to me, but I don't, you know, I'll look at it maybe once or twice a week,
Okay.
but,
But I agree with you on the outburst, but as John knows, I know, you know,
mhm.
the hammer does not stop Dave Lander. So the next step is the town worker.
right,
Well,
and we have talked,
You could warn them, say, hey,
There's no warning though, you can hit the
he
hammer.
won't stop.
You know, you hit the
Well,
hammer, he doesn't stop.
I've seen other people go there too, the same thing, but, the thing with it is, I understand where she's coming from, but you still got a freedom of speech in this world, but if he's representing himself as a board member or official councilman, then that's wrong. But I know that you get comments from the residents sometimes that get kind of heated. I had somebody pointing their finger at me like that, and you gotta take it, see. So,
I just think we should be on our best behavior in front of the public.
yes. And it's hard for me to do, because, you know, I'm
Look at
old-
me and I
I'm
go,
old school sometimes, and that's one of the reasons I told Ron a year and a half ago that I had enough, didn't I?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're gonna carry on.
I always thought you were a calm and cool, collected guy, Joe.
No, there's things that get me upset, and when you're elected official, you just got, and it's hard to do, you gotta grin and bear it and move on, you know, there's no sense of arguing. And I'm so dang close right now that maybe I get to be one of the ones out there and get up there, but, you know, I doubt it, I hope not. I hope you guys carry on and do it. I know that whoever's here will have the best interest of Dayton at heart. And Ron, you and I have been neighbors for 35 years, and we've had our ups and downs, and we're still neighbors. I don't always agree with you, and you don't agree with me,
Yeah.
but that's part of it, so.
You get out there, we're gonna need a bigger hammer.
Yeah, while we're talking on the subject, I won't be at the next meeting. I'll be in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So you guys know all up front, I'm going to Hershey to a swap meet out there.
Well, I thought you was
I'm
going
sh-
for the
I'm sh-
chocolate.
I'm sure that you guys, well, I partake, I was out in Oklahoma, and the guy put a little chocolate thing there next to my chair, and man, I tell you, it was hard to turn down. But anyway, all aside, is there anything else that wants to come up, Ron?
I just want to say, Tammy, you did a really nice job. Excellent job.
Yes, it was.
That was very good.
And I appreciate the time and effort. There's a lot of effort that goes in this, and thank you very much. And like I said, the board and Tyrone, I'm glad that you stepping up and asking questions and voicing your opinion, because I think in the next 4 years, you're gonna have to do that.
I just
So-
got- one thing I got is, have we got any information from Joe on their raise?
no, that's one thing I guess we needed to talk about was
Yes.
the fact that they have like 22,000 into us and they've only got like 5.
Okay, he called me up.
Okay,
He made a proposal, and he's gonna bring it up. He knows there's a lot of extras this year and stuff that go into this thing, but he said, how about, he said, he actually gets 10,800. He said, how about a couple thousand more? He doesn't want to do an hourly thing, or they don't want to get into that, you know?
Mhm.
But he said, how about a couple thousand more? And I said, well, that's up to the board, but I said, that sounds reasonable.
Mhm.
And then, within 10, 15 minutes of talking about several things, and one was the meetings and stuff,
Mhm.
he said, yeah, he said, well, I'll bring it up, I'll think about it more, and maybe 2,000 to 5,000. So somewhere in there, okay? So, anyway, at least it sounds halfway under control and reasonable.
I don't, my experience has been you don't want to get into an hourly rate.
No.
Do a retainer type of situation. Going back to previous years, I'd had that discussion also.
Mhm.
Giving them a 20% raise, I'm not going.
But
I don't know if that's the thing to do either.
I don't know either, because it just, there's years that they probably don't meet that 10,000.
Yeah,
And then there's, this one time with all the golf cart stuff and everything, that they've exceeded it. So to me, it will kind of average out as the years, because some years they won't do nothing.
Yeah.
But
But
I can see bumping it up some, but not.
The way he
not
talked, I
5,000.
think he's very agreeable to whatever you guys, it sounds to me like.
I can split
It's
the
not a
difference with
big
it.
deal, whatever you guys come up somewhere in that
yeah.
low end of that range.
I've got,
It's not like the world is short of law offices.
well, I got, everybody here, I got one comment that I'd like to make, and it's, after I'm out of here, I'd like to see maybe the town of Dayton thinking about getting a T-coil set up for the hearing impaired. And that's available, different places have that. And I know that some of the talking points about the electronics and the the new things, I'd like for the board to look into that. So if you are hearing impaired, which I am, and there's been some discussion on Cindy not being able to hear me back there, and sometimes I think sometimes I think I'm yelling at her, and maybe I am yelling at her, and I don't know it, but I know that several different churches and businesses and places have that
Yeah.
capability, and what that does, that pipes the sound right into your internal hearing aids.
What's it called again?
It's a T-coil, and
Is it
Mary, I call her Dr. Mary, she's up there across from the park. They've got it in there, and you can have it going on, and you people can't hear it, but I can hear it.
So, just, you know, I know nothing about
It's
this. What-
really not that expensive.
What was it, a box or is it?
It has to do with electronics, and
So if we had an audio system, the audio system?
well, I know that you
would
people
feed
were
this?
talking about audio station. We had this old one here, and it took it went kaput.
Right.
And I know that some of the campaign things, I know Ron's talked about it, and some other, I've heard other discussions about it. And I appreciate her putting out the little thing, what was that, a couple months ago or a month ago, about
Last month.
speaking up and
Yeah.
that you can't hear. And I told her, Cindy, I appreciated that somebody is trying to take care of a hearing impaired and a handicapped person. So, thank you. With that,
I still don't have in my mind what it is.
okay,
I think it sends like a voice, like it will send the signal of his voice, or whoever's speaking up here.
yes, you have
And
microphones.
It
It
somehow links into that, almost like a Bluetooth thing, so they can.
That's what it is.
They can hear it wherever, so if we're talking normal, it'll pick it up, but he'll hear it like he's
Kinda like
sitting
that,
next to us.
while you were here,
Well-
you had a phone thing up here,
Yeah,
when we had some meetings, and he walked back to get coffee,
It-
and he could hear everything we're saying, because that thing was sitting on the
yes.
desk.
That wasn't a good time.
It's just part of the, I know people's brought up, especially when we have a big crowd here, that they can't hear what we're saying and we can't hear what they're saying. And I'm just saying that maybe next year that whoever's here can look into it. Her name is
It's Mary Ann, isn't
Mary,
it? Mary Ann, I can't remember what her
yeah,
last name.
Cavero or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Anyway, they could come out and they can put on a demonstration.
Maybe it could be a combination, microphone, hearing impaired,
Yes.
recorder, whatever.
Yes.
That's,
And-
never had
and-
many people,
Well,
but now it is,
I'm just
yeah, it's
saying
a good
that-
idea.
any more of this ADA stuff is coming up, and hearing impaired just as much as a handicap as anything else. I hope nobody besides myself has to endure some of the things like that. But,
Comes with AGE.
yeah, well,
I don't
now
think
they
we can avoid
protect
it.
your hearing, they protect your hearing a lot better than what I did, It's,
Well, now they know to protect it. Used to be just.
Yeah, so- anyway, is anything else, we can get out of here and I can get back home and I can start working on my race car, road race car, so.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion made and seconded to adjourn it, adjournment's in order, all in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye, motion carried.